What the hell are you guys doing? It's not your birthdays! Hello and welcome back. It's us, the main cast of Let Me Ask You a Question. We have Jeff, a.k.a. Jeff, Danielle, the girl, and not Vinny, Rob. Very awkward intro. We just got off of the Black Mirror high. Bandersnatch it was called, right?
No.
All right, we just finished watching the new season of Black Mirror. I think it's season 5.
Yes.
There's 3 episodes in it. The first one titled
Striking Vipers.
Striking Vipers, which is the game that they're playing. So let's dive right in. We're not going to go through scene by scene and do a synopsis. What we're gonna
Because that's a waste of time.
We're gonna talk about our feelings right now, and I'm gonna open this up after they had their Bandersnatch movie, which it was kind of cool. It was a different type of medium. This was right back into the main series, like the main thing that they're doing for Black Mirror, and it was a nice. It wasn't a risk, right? It was a nice, gentle ease one. It wasn't like anyone's going to town on a pig or anything,
Yeah.
and no one's getting lost in space. But it was more of a nice ease into it. So overall, how do you guys feel?
I enjoyed the first episode.
Yeah.
I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, like, it wasn't my favorite, but I think it was still, like, true to, I don't know, their style. I enjoyed it.
True to Black Mirror.
Yeah.
I think overall, it was good. There wasn't a lot that... I don't even think there was any time when we were watching it all that any one of us were like, oh...
Yeah, no, I definitely was, like, trying to figure out, like, okay, so, like, what's actually going to happen here? Like, is someone else going to log on? And, like, I'll let you talk about that, but...
It honestly got me to really care about that love triangle that was going on, like, between him and his wife, between him and Carl.
Yeah, so when it does kind of everything starts to go, you have Danny and Theo when they're, I guess, a little bit after college or college age, they have a roommate.
They're playing a PS3.
They're playing the PS3. I did notice that. I saw the little red light. Mm-hmm. And they're playing, it essentially looks like Street Fighter. So we see that essentially they're all roommates. The guy has sex with his girlfriend, and he goes like, okay, I'm done with you, girl. I'm going to go play my video games now with my friend. And then she wakes up in the middle of the night like, where is he? So she gets up, is a little bit angry, smokes some drugs, goes back to bed, like a normal couple.
Yeah.
And then the other guy jumps on top of him and humps him for a bit, and then
That's what just normal friends do, though.
Yeah,
You've done that
definitely,
before.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Fast forward a bit, they're at this awful. It's like 11 years later, the mundane birthday party for the guy. Danny's like flipping meat,
Like, contemptuously grilling hamburger.
You want to know what? So he was. I'm going to read too far into this. He was flipping meat. Is that a euphemism for something for later?
No, because, okay, so you could lean into that, but that's what...
I'm sure they tried to lean into that.
But that's where we thought the episode was going when we were watching it. But ultimately, it's just like anything else. It's how they're using the technology and how it's a detriment to, like, human nature. So it wasn't about, like, him being gay. It was more about him fulfilling a need that, like, his companion, his wife, was, like, yearning to fill for him, like, the closeness, the intimacy, and he was getting it somewhere else.
Well, you brought up a good point that the way Black Mirror works with its technology, it never shines a positive light on technology.
Yeah.
It's always like, this technology is going to ruin some sacred thing or mess something up real bad. So when Danny gets the gift from Carl, and he's like, dude, this is a crazy VR experience. It's like nothing you've ever... I went into Circuit City, and I tried it out, and it blew my mind. So...
I'm glad Circuit City's back in the future.
Well, they have to come back, right? It's the future. It's a utopia. So he doesn't even try it out, right? He gets the gift, and he's like, all right, cool. And then he does his whole day thing, and then he's about to go to bed. His knee hurts, classic excuse, and he goes to play a video game, right?
Yeah.
So he gets a little invite from Carl. He says, yo, bro, put this game on. and he walks him through, put a little chip in the thing.
Didn't he just get up and like go play Tetris for a while or something? Wasn't
Yeah,
that what
he was
doing?
playing. Why is Tetris in the future? This
that
is the worst game.
Wasn't that the VR remake of Tetris that he was playing?
No. He wasn't playing VR or anything yet.
No, I know, but I think that version of Tetris is the one that's out for PlayStation VR right now.
Oh, he was playing Tetris Royale. That's why.
Oh, okay.
So he's playing Tetris because they're just trying to show you that he sucks now. And he's like, look, he's playing Tetris. This is the year 4000 and he's playing Tetris. All this technology where you can go control the fabric of space and time and he's playing Tetris. Okay, so then he gets an invite from Carl. He jumps into the virtual world and they're like, round one, fight. And he chooses Captain Viper. What does he choose?
The names that escape me.
All right, Roxette is what Carl chooses.
Yep.
And then he chooses, like, Ken. Or Ryu, I don't know, whatever.
Basically Ken, yeah. Or
Don't hate us. So they fight. This is the only thing I'm going to say about this episode, is that one hit that weird area where it looked bad and good at the same time. That's why
Yeah.
I said, I'm like, don't make Detective Pikachu, it looks weird.
Yeah, like that, almost like campy in a way, where it's like in poor taste, but it's appropriate that it's in poor taste.
Yeah, like when they're doing like the combo breaker
Yeah.
and kick it. I was like,
Like
this
to
looks
see,
weird.
to see that live action was like unsettling.
literally took live action characters and stuffed them into Street Fighter. That's really what it was. They took all the same dumb special effects and everything.
I know,
and
it
gave
just
live
was
action
so,
vibe.
it was uncomfortable for me. So they fight for a while. Danny is getting his butt kicked, just like when they were roommates. So Carl tells Danny that it enhances all the experience, right? You're going to feel everything and then some.
Yeah, like through like haptic feedback or whatever is happening.
Because it's linked to their mind, which is just like one of the previous episodes. Although it's like Twilight Zone where none of the episodes are linked, sometimes the technology is interwoven.
Yeah, always.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he tells him what's going on. Then he gets his butt kicked. And then in like the second or third match, what happens, Jeff?
Fun time stuff.
Can you act it out using just your hands? Yeah, so
Like rom-com style tumble to the ground.
did anyone see that coming?
Yeah.
You did?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so you saw that coming.
Oh yeah. Like I could just sense like between the two of them, because then when he's at the barbecue, like he's checking out that girl, like he's looking at her butt or whatever, and he's like kind of like embarrassed.
Who was looking at it?
Danny was.
Okay.
So you're seeing like he's like longing for something, and obviously he has this great relationship with Carl. Like it just seemed like that was potentially, I don't know, that was like the theme of the episode. I had a feeling that was coming.
Infidelity was the theme?
No, because I don't think it's infidelity necessarily. Like it's just that weird, like blurring lines of like what's okay, what's not okay. Like, is this infidelity? Like, am I looking for intimacy in the wrong places?
Well-
what am I getting from this?
Well, as we beat around the bush with this one, here's what happens is the two virtual characters, they have virtual sex, and because of the thing in their mind that it says they feel everything. Everything. So with Carl, that's playing as Roxette, he's a girl, you know, and the other guy is he's still a dude. But they said it's like an intense experience, right? So I don't know. I'm just going to bring this up right now is when I play games, I know you're going to be different with this one, but when I play games where they let me create a character or choose a character, I don't choose the girl. I never do. And I know everyone's going to say, that's because he's a jerk boy, and of course he doesn't choose the girl.
I feel like it just comes down to people's preferences. When I play games, I usually pick a female character, and that's really just because
You're weird?
no, when I'm in the game, it's because I'm in another universe, right? And you just want to try being somebody different for that other universe. So most of my created characters are female.
Yeah, but if I'm creating a character, in the real world, I'm a fat loser, right?
Yeah.
But when I jump in the other one, I can play as, like, Goku 2. And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to look like Nathan Drake, and all the ladies are going to like me.
But you could look like Goku 2 if you wanted to. You just gotta hit the gym a little bit.
But I don't know. So that's a totally different topic. But Carl, he was like you. He just chose the chick to play as,
I
right?
probably would have done the same thing.
Okay, so you're doing the same thing, and you're playing online, and then X Blaze 420 joins the match, and he's playing as a gorilla. Actually,
It
side
was a
thought.
polar bear, right?
It was a
Yeah,
polar
he's-
bear.
Yeah.
Side thought, though, do you think this the whole episode is about them getting together in the virtual world. If he did not choose a character and he chose us the polar bear, do you still think that moment would have happened where they're like, rah, Gorgle, and he's on top, like classic like trope where he's on top holding the arms down. Oh no, she was above him. But if he was playing as a polar bear, do you think it would
Who was
happen?
playing as the polar bear, Carl or Danny?
If Danny was the polar bear, do you still think it would happen?
No. Yes.
Maybe it enhances the mood
Because-
somehow.
Carl knew what the game could do. He knew that you could do that kind of thing in that game.
He
So
did at that moment know that would happen?
I'm like 99% sure.
Yeah,
he
because he's
did,
like, it's unbelievable. You could have sex with polar bears. It's wild.
Because he picked the classic character that they played a while ago. He had tried the game multiple times before they
Yeah.
played, so he lured Danny into that situation.
I'd just like to argue that there's no way that game would be used for anything else but that if it existed. No way.
There's VR now, but so you mean as far as the way the whole thing is?
Yeah,
It would
but
just
like
be
that game specific, like, I mean, anything like that. Like, it's just like, oh, what can we use this for? Oh, sex? Let's just do that.
Yeah.
Only that.
If that was possible in the game, it wouldn't be a fighting game. Like
No.
nobody would
Nobody
fight.
would
Of course
fight.
not. Of
Yeah.
course not. Now, it's been about
Turn items on.
oh
No
so
smash balls.
so YouTube, it's been about 8 to 10 minutes now, so I'm comfortable saying that I thought this was going to get much darker. Much darker. So he has a family and he has a kid, right? So this is Black Mirror, and they've done something similar to this in the past.
Yeah.
So I thought that Danny was like, yeah, playing my game, and I just had sex with my friend online. Here's what it is. I'm an adult. And he was going to leave it out. And the kid's going to be like, wowee, my dad's video games. And he's going to get an invite from Carl when he's playing. I was
I
like,
could have totally, yeah.
I was like, literally, dude, stressed out. I was like, I'll turn it off. Don't do this to me. I legit thought that was happening.
I thought his kid was gonna walk in and like see him doing something weird. You know how VR mirrors what you're doing on the screen.
Yeah, that's what I was going to call BS.
That was what I thought.
I was going to call it BS because I'm just like, no, there's not a character select screen. Like, you're definitely going to see them doing stuff.
I don't know. I feel like I really felt for his wife throughout the whole thing, too. Because
Well,
it's
that's because
so-
you're a girl.
Well, yeah. I mean, like, but it's also like really...
Like, there's a girl on screen. I have to do that.
I identify with her. No, I just, in true Black Mirror fashion, just really relatable, realistic situations. The wife thinking his withdrawal from her is about her. There's something
Yeah.
wrong with her. She's trying to figure out what's going on. And it was sad to see their relationship falling apart. And he was like ashamed of what was happening too. He's like locking himself behind closed doors.
Well, I thought was a really cool scene was, he's like, yo, when he shows up for that his other super lame birthday, and she's like, I invited Carl, and he's like, oh no, I just broke up with Carl. and Carl shows up like,
Well, that was a while after they broke up, right?
it was,
like
it
a
was,
year.
yeah.
They showed him like getting pissed off at pinball.
It was like 7 months.
having like that montage of just depression. Which I felt really bad for Carl for a lot of that because he was that kind of guy who was just like on a date, never really found any kind of happiness, and like his happiness was found in his friend Danny.
Right.
But I feel like at the same time, when you lean more into something like alluring like that, it siphons your happiness from the real world.
Yeah.
Like,
Because
and that's-
it's not true fulfillment.
Well, that was
Right.
shown when Danny was like spacing out all the time. Like
Yeah.
when people, his wife was talking to him or whatever, and he's just like, "What? No, I'm fine."
After Carl comes over and he's like, what are you doing here? And they leave and he tells them, be on at midnight. He doesn't know if he really wants to do it. So he goes forth and does it, right? He joins into the game after midnight.
It was almost like he relapsed on the drug.
Yeah, it was like
Yeah.
a drug. So he goes
Yeah.
back in there and does it. And Carl in the moment says, I love you. And he's like, no, what? Because he wanted to say, like, it's just a drug. It's not going to ruin my life. Then when Carl said, like, no, I am your life now. It's like the drug saying, this is your life now.
Mm-hmm.
So he's, he shuts it off and tells him, meet me here in the rain, of course. Meet me here and whatever. And you think they're going to fight, right? Even, Carl's like, so I guess we're fighting? He's like, no, we're going to kiss. That was pretty funny.
Mm-hmm.
And when they do kiss, I know that we had a little bit of a difference of opinion there. So when they first kiss, Danny says, nope, nothing. And then Carl's like, yeah, no, I didn't feel anything. You think that they both thought they felt nothing, right?
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
I thought they were going to take it where, like, Carl genuinely didn't feel anything, but Danny did.
Okay.
because I don't know, just his reaction didn't seem the same way. Carl just seemed like, oh, like it was almost like it was a joke or something. Like
Because I feel like if Carl did enjoy it, or if either of them did enjoy it, there would have been some push on the other side. Like you would have seen Carl like try to go in a little bit more in the kiss, but instead
Yeah.
it was just like really quick, and then they're both just like.
I feel that Carl didn't get to react, where Carl's a different type of sensitivity than how Danny is. Danny even said, nope, nothing, almost to protect himself and his family. And Carl was like, oh, yeah, it felt nothing, even though I just said I love you in the game and you just quit. So it was more that Carl's just like, yeah, sure, whatever. And then it looked like they were pulling away, but they had that, like, still holding each other's heartstrings, and they were coming back for another kiss. But instead they started fighting because it was almost like they were rebuking the relationship. They're rebuking who they truly were, and then it just caused them to fight. It's easier to
I
fight.
don't think they were rebuking who they truly were. I genuinely don't think that it was an attraction to that other person. It was just, all right, like, let me just use this technology to fulfill like a human need. I don't think, and I think that's why he wanted to meet in
Yes.
person, because he's like,
I
am
would
I
argue-
just a captive to this technology?
But I would
and what it's
argue,
giving me?
I would disagree, because Carl specifically said, I tried it with other people online with X-Slayer 420, and I even tried to have sex with the NPCs, and it's not the same. It's you. You're the difference. If that was the case in point, when he told his wife, he would have just said, here, put this on and we'll do it in the game because my knee hurts. It wasn't
You're
about
confusing
that.
Carl and Danny.
No.
Yeah.
Carl said that. Carl said,
Yeah.
I
no,
had...
Carl did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But Danny would have then said to his wife, Theo, that, look, if it's really not, it's not about him, it's about the game, then you do it. That wasn't even the compromise. It was they two were the real soulmates for each other. And although they didn't want to say outwardly what they're...
But that's the thing about this show. It takes this like linear like setup of relationships that we know in the real world, and it takes it to this other plane of existence where this like new technology is being introduced, and we're trying to figure out, okay, like, how do we define this or that? Is he crossing the line here? And it like begs those questions. So I don't think that, you know what I mean? Like, you can't necessarily think about it in real world terms sometimes, and I think that's what this show does.
I don't think they were soulmates for each other. I think that their souls in those characters were soulmates for each other, but outside of the game, in their own like human skin, were not. And I think that's the disconnect.
So what you're saying, what I said in the beginning, if Danny chose to play as the polar bear, this wouldn't have happened.
Yeah, probably not.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
I think it was exactly that character with their souls inside of those characters.
Okay.
I'm going to take it back to the early 2000s, AOL Instant Messenger, or forums and whatnot.
Are you looking
you
for
guys-
an AOL Instant Messenger sponsor right now?
No.
1,000-hour discs for all of our listeners. Just hashtag 1,000
Go
hours.
right to the junkyard. You'll find all those discs.
That might be the way of the future, though. Internet credits.
Did you guys ever do any kind of role playing online, like play characters and do like
Maybe in a
role plays in forums, and
Game,
things like that?
not really. Probably in a game, not.
Probably in a game, like pretend to be your character and stuff.
Yeah.
Because I would equate it to, you would forge relationships and maybe not necessarily sexual, but you would form like meaningful relationships with other people's characters. Like your character would form a relationship with that person's character. And it would bleed into real life, but you weren't really having that adventure in that life with that person. You were having that life with their character.
Like a lot of like Dungeons and Dragons type situations.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like imagine we were playing Dungeons and Dragons and I picked a female character and you picked a male, and our characters like fell for each other, and that like felt meaningful for us, but it didn't do anything for us in real life. I was like, oh, it's Rob, like I normally am.
What do you think, Dale?
I guess, yeah. I mean, like, it's just another facet of someone's personality in a way, because it's a projection of who you would be in that world or in that life. Like, if you could live a life in that realm or something.
Exactly.
So, yeah, I mean,
That's why I could relate to that episode a lot when it came to that kind of stuff.
and when they open up the episode, they alluded to that because he was role playing with his wife too. Like, oh, that's what you're into or whatever. So
I didn't even think of that. That's true. And the happy ending, like that was weird for Black Mirror, but I
Yes,
really
it
liked
was
that ending.
technically a happy ending.
yeah, I mean, she goes, so like he gets to do that. She gets to go like feel wanted and pick up guys at bars or whatever she was doing. But
Well, the sad truth about that as well too is like, for her, beauty is going to fade to a point where that like the relationship is doomed now, because she's going to go to the bars and there's going to be a time where a certain subsect of men aren't going to find her attractive.
Yeah.
Versus Danny, he could just be the avatar forever.
Well, no, they'll eventually shut the service down. So he's got another like 5 years at best.
Oh, rip.
But I appreciated the compromise in the relationship. Regardless of how you feel about how a relationship should be, you know, monogamy, polygamy,
Math.
polynumerals. However you feel that it should be, like that's really cool to see them work it out that way.
Yeah, like this is gonna sound kind of lame, but it's a really mature take on how to handle issues in like a mature adult relationship, because usually it's just not cut and dry, like, oh, we'll just break up, or oh, we'll just do this and that. It's just
Yeah, they
it
had
was
two
something that maybe
kids.
he was like ashamed of, or like something that she was wanting, and like really seeing that other person and what they need and not like shaming them for it.
So overall, I would say 8 out of 10, maybe 8.5 for me. I couldn't really catch fault with it. It wasn't an amazing concept that I was in love with. However, I thought the way the episode was told and everything like that, solid, probably 8, 8.5.
I don't know. I don't like scoring things. It was pretty
neither
good.
do I. Yeah,
Cool.
I enjoyed it.
Thanks for stopping by. Tell us what you think down below. Anything else you guys want to add?
Are we done?
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay.
No.